Okay, so my goal is to try to get all these done tonight. So hopefully I don't lose consciousness later on. It's 9 o'clock. Let's see what time the last one is. I've got like 5 or 6 more to go. This is number 6. This one's going to be a while. Actually, I got some big ones coming. The next one after this will be factoring. So whatever. You're probably not going to watch them in order. You'll watch them in whatever order you want. But we're on probability. By the way, all of these documents, again, if this is the first time you've been here, can be found on my website. It's just mrkrausemath.com. If you don't have a copy of my flashcards, please get them. My goodness, I put 244 flashcards up. You go over here to Study Blue, and you practice your flashcards, you know. I mean, like for example, when you see the word subtracted from, something simple like this is subtracted from this. What's going through your mind? You got to remember, oh yeah, that's when you subtract backwards. You take the two things and you subtract backwards. If you know it, just click the green thumb. Click the green thumb. In which quadrant are we between 0 and pi over 2? Because sometimes that comes up. That's quadrant 1, 0 to 90 degrees, quadrant 1. Got it. I'm all over that one. What's the formula for finding arc length? More importantly, can you tell me what all the pieces mean? It's S equals theta r, but theta has to be in radians, you know, and r is the radius. Simple stuff. If you know this stuff, just click the green arrow and keep going. If you don't, hit the red one or the red thumb and say, hey, I got a review. Simple directions on how to get those. All of my review stuff, my review topics can all be found here. I hope you're enjoying them. Did I even hit the record? Oh, I did. Okay. And I don't know how that's going to be. If you want all the old Regents exams, they're right here. Algebra 2 Trig, you know, there you go. All of them lined up for you. And if you want by topics, here are 11 topics, although I still haven't finished trigonometric graphs. I don't know why I haven't finished that one. And then I'm going to add 11 more today. 11, and all the ones I'm doing now are directly from old New York State Regents exams. So you've probably already done these problems before, but that's okay. If you see them again, it's fine, because a lot of what we see on the Regents exam just repeats itself. But now I've broken them down by topic. So you'll see, you know, on the broken down 1, I think we did, looks like we did systems of equations. And in broken down 2, we did solving inequalities. In broken down 3, I did statistics. And broken down 4 was radical equations, solving radical equations. Broken down 5 was, what was this? Oh, this is regression. And now we're going to do probability. So hopefully you're doing all right. So determine how many 11 letter, a lot of times they tell you, sometimes they don't. Be careful with your counting if they don't tell you. Arrangements can we make from categories? I'm sure somebody knows where that is exactly. So if they were all different letters, it would be 11 factorial. But they're not. So we have to divide out the common factors. So there are 1, 2, 3 A's, so we got to divide by 3 factorial, times 2 T's, divide by times 2 factorial, and 2 U's, 2 factorial. Now, I'm not going to put in 2 factorial, because 2 factorial in the future, just so you know, is really just 2 times 1, which is just 2. So when you see, I'm just going to put 2 in. On your test, you might want to put in 2 factorial. So we're going to start out with control division. Start out with a nice fraction. If you don't do it with a fraction, I'm going to show you what happens, okay? So we had 11, and the factorial button on this computer or calculator is right here. Factorial divided by 3. See, I'm saving myself strokes when I don't do that. Times 2 times 2. Since I don't have to put 2 factorial in. You get 1,663,000. So 1,663,200 different possibilities. But if you don't start with a fraction and you just start with 11 factorial like this, and then you divide by 3 factorial times 2 times 2, you're not going to end up, oops, I forgot the 2. You're not going to end up with the same result. You're going to end up with quite a bit, much huger number. Look at that. Ginormous, 26 million. Not correct at all. Not correct at all. So make sure you start out with a fraction. All right. So the probability of winning a game is 2/3. Determine the probability expressed as a fraction of winning exactly. Now, remember, I keep forgetting to tell you guys this. We're on 2-point questions. 2-point questions should be really, really easy. One topic, one thing that you have to remember. You're not going to have to do 2 and 3 and 4 things too often. Okay, you're really going to have to just do one thing. We're going to use Bernoulli's equation or binomial probability. And I always start it with N, R, P, and Q. You're going to see me write this a million times. If you don't know what these means, maybe I'll try to put a link in my show notes for my directions on my YouTube channel on all this stuff where I really walk through this. But I think by the time you get done doing a few of these problems, you'll understand. N represents the number of games total that we're going to play. In this game, 7. R represents what you want to happen. We want 4 games. Exactly 4, so just 4. P represents the probability that it is going to happen. So the probability of winning is 2/3. The probability of losing then is 1/3. Now the equation goes NCR, so 7 choose 4. 2/3 and 1/3 go here. You're going to copy over this because we want 4 of these. So we just put the 4 there, and then exponents have to add up to 7. So that's the equation that we're going to use. That's Bernoulli's probability. I went through a whole lesson on how to get that and how to do that. It's on a YouTube channel underneath Bernoulli's probability. Just look into my YouTube channel if you want. But we're going to type that into our calculator. So in order to get that, we go menu 5-3. That gets us to combinations. And this was 7, 4. This is how you put them in this calculator, 7, 4. Menu 5-3 takes you just to the probability combinations. Then we're going to go times parentheses, and then the first one we go 2/3, parentheses raised to the 4th, and get out of parenthesis mode. It's very easy to stay in parenthesis mode, or in exponent mode. Parenthesis, 1 divided by 3 cubed. Ooh, I got too many parentheses. Somehow I got too many parentheses. I got to get rid of this thing. Okay, raised to the 3rd. Okay, I almost put that in wrong. So make sure you press enter. It looks like what I got over here. So I got it over here. It looks like this. It should look something like that. 4 and 3. Okay. So 560 over 2187 looks like. All right, that's it. We're going to be doing that a lot. So if you're not comfortable with Bernoulli's probability, watch this video. Keep going. You're going to figure it out eventually, okay? So we're going to do the same thing here. I got NRPQ. Since this is going to be a long video, I'm going to try to skip some of the reading, but you should be, if you're comfortable with this, hit the pause button, do a couple of 0.2s, do a couple of 0.4s, they don't think there's a 6-point question on this. No, there's no 6-point questions. So do a couple of 0.4s. There are a few tricky ones. I'll tell you what, if you're skipping ahead, the hardest one on this one is number 5 under the 4-point section. So that's the most difficult one. Make sure you do that one. All right, so this one's a little tricky because they're not spelling it out exactly. It says the probability that Kay and Joseph Dowling will have a redheaded stepchild, redheaded child, is 1/4. So the probability of having a redhead is 1/4. Therefore, the probability of not having a redhead is 3/4. They're going to have 3 children, and we want exactly 1 child to have red. So we're going to do 3, choose 1. What we want to happen is 1/4, and we want to only have 1 of those. If there's 1 of those, then there's got to be 2 of these, because these have to add up to the 3 kids that we're going to have. And then we go over to our calculator. Menu 5-3. What do we got? 3, 1, parenthesis, times, parenthesis, 1 divided by 4. Don't put a decimal in there. I know it's almost irresistible, but don't. It's a little bit less keystrokes, almost the same amount actually. It'll just give you a decimal answer as opposed to an exact answer, and we'll square this. And we get 27 over 64. 27 over 64. Now, if they don't tell you where to round, just leave it like this. Sometimes they come out as decimals. All right, I think we're done. Let me come back. No, not done, but I'll be right back. So I know most of you think that, or are very impressed with the fact that I'm doing this without coffee. That's really good. But we're going to keep going. All right, Ashley being a catcher of softball. The probability of her being a catcher in softball is 2/5. P. Probability of her being a catcher is 2/5. That means the probability of her not being a catcher is 3/5. And I really haven't addressed this, but I'm hoping you understand. These have to add up to 1. Probability of something happened and its complement. They have to add up to 1. 5 of the next 6 games. So we're going to have 6 games, and we want it to be exactly the catcher in 5 of them. So we're going to do 6, choose 5. We want her to be a catcher in 5, so 2/5 times 5. And 3/5 times 1, since there's only one game. Remember, the exponents have to add up to 6, or whatever the number is, whatever n is. So menu 5, 3. I wish I had a shortcut for that. 6, comma 5, parentheses, 2 divided by 5, parentheses, raised to the 5th. Get out of parentheses mode. Parentheses 3 divided by 5. I could do raised to the 1. It's just 1, so I won't bother even putting it in. 576 over 15. So 576 over 15,625. 15,625. Did they ask us to round anywhere? Calculate the exact. By the way, if they say exact, this better be a fraction. It better not be some whacked out irrational decimal. It's not going to work. All right, let's move on. Find the number of okay, so we're back to these kinds of questions. 10 letter arrangements. So we're going to take 10 factorial. And now we got to get rid of the duplicates. 1, 2, 3 S's, 3 factorial. 1, 2, 3. And 2 I's. And again, I'm not going to put in 2 factorial. Oops. It's just going to be a number. All right, so I come over to my calculator. I start with a fraction, and I start with 10 factorial. All over 3. Is it in here? Nope. 3 factorial. I oftentimes don't even put 3 factorial in because 3 factorial is just 6. 3 factorial times 3 factorial times 2. And our answer is 50,400. All right, moving on. I hope you guys are doing these on your own, not just copying me. Watching me is like watching a trained monkey. Whatever, work. On multiple choice test, Abby randomly guesses on all 7 questions. Yeah, my favorite student. Yeah, 7 questions. R, P, and Q. How long are we in for? Oh, we're moving. Abby gets exactly 3 questions right. So here's the thing. You don't see anywhere where it says probability, so you have to read into it a little bit. It says each question has 4 choices. So if each question has 4 choices, then doesn't she have a 1 out of 4 chance of getting it right? Or in other words, she has a 3 out of 4 chance of getting it wrong. So there's 7 questions. We want to choose 3 of them for her to get exactly 3 questions right, otherwise known as a loser. So we don't need any more losers. Study, 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 study. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're working. I'm glad you're using these videos. Use them appropriately. We're going to have to put the 3 up there and the 4 up there. Don't forget these have to add up to 7 in this case. So we go over to our calculator. We go menu 5, 3. If you don't have this calculator, by the time you get done watching my videos, you're going to go out and buy it. It is $120. I'm not going to pull any punches. It's an expensive calculator. You know, our district provides these for the kids, which they don't know how good they have it. Lucky bums. 7,3. But if you don't have it, it's certainly usable on the Regents exam, and it is very, very user-friendly. So 1 divided by 4, parenthesis raised to the 3rd, which we want 3 right, and then we want parenthesis 3 divided by 4, parentheses raised to the 4th power, and 4 wrong. And 2835, 16,384, 16,384. There it is. All right, now we got to talk about Pennsylvania. This is a dumb number. Pennsylvania, there's 12 letters in Pennsylvania, so we'll do, because it doesn't have a lot of repeaters. There's 3 N's, 1, 2, 3 N's, so that's 3 factorial. Only 1 P, only 1 E, only 1 S, only 1 Y, only 1 L, only 1 V, and then there's 2 A's. So this is going to be a big number. It's going to be like my salary from last year. If you believe that one, I got some land I want to sell you. 12 factorial. I mean, this is going to be a ginormous number. Divided by 3. By the way, 3 factorial is 6. So if you just want to put 6 in your calculator, that's cool. On the Regents exam, please put 3 factorial in. So 399,168. 399,16800. I don't know where to put the zero. So 39,916,800. Holy mackerel. Definitely. All right, so now we're in 4-point questions. So up until now, we've only had one equation. We've only had one equation. Here's one equation. Here's one equation. Here's one equation. One equation. Now it's going to get a little bit more tricky. Basically the same principle, but a lot more places to make mistakes. Okay, so whenever Sarah rents a movie, a horror movie is 0.57. Probability of her renting a horror movie is 0.57. So I know P. Probability of horror movie is 0.57. So I also know Q. Probability of not renting a not porno. Sorry. Horror movie. Jeez. Remember, these have to add up to 1. I apologize. Let me just stamp that right out there. I didn't say that, Mom and Dad. Don't listen. Jesus. I'm going to get in trouble for that one. Okay. Don't complain. It's just a slip of the tongue. I told you it's late. I'm doing this without coffee. Give me a break. Okay. So here it is. How many is she going to rent? She's going to rent 5 movies. And here comes the hard part. No more than 2 can be rented. So can she do 3? That'd be more than 2. 4? That'd be more than 2. 5? That'd be more than 2. So no more than 2 can be horror movies. That means she can rent 0. That's less than 2. 1. That's less than 2. Or 3. Notice how R is going to change. Now R is going to change on the harder problem. So if it's a 4-point question, you could almost guarantee that R is going to have at least 2 or 3 values into it. Okay? And here's how it works. You just do each one individually. 5, choose 0. 0.57 to the 0, 0.43 to the 5. Remember, they got to add up to 5. Then you just do the next equation. 5, choose 1, 0.57 to the 1, 0.43 to the 4. Remember, again, the exponents have to add up to 5. 5, choose 2, 0.57, 2, 0.43, 3. Now, each of these is going to give you a decimal. These you cannot round. Don't round, don't round, don't round. You have to round only at the end. This is just for the end of the problem. Okay? So, come over to our calculator. I think I might need to take a break. Yeah, let me take a break and I'll be right back and I'll finish these on my calculator. Normally in those breaks, I like to drink some coffee. Well, I have a next video. I think I would have to have some coffee because it's like 9:30 and that's way past my bedtime. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go over a calculator. There it is. And we're going to go menu 5-3 because that gets us in there. And it's 5, 0 for the first one. Parentheses. And it's 0.57. Now the good thing is it's a little bit easier to put these in once you've got them all in. 0.57 to the 0. Now, I'm going to put in raise to 0, and you'll see why in a minute. Get out of that. Parenthesis, 0.43 raised to the 5th. Now, I didn't really need to put 0.50 to the 0. I could have just left that whole thing out because anything raised to the 0 power is 1. But you'll see why in a minute why I wanted to do that. So point, and do not round this. So 0.014700, 0.014700. 8443. Now, cool thing is I just go up here, I click here. Now you got to do it right. I change this to a 4. Everything's got to change, but I don't have to retype it all. Change this to a 1. Those add up to 5. And I got to change this to a 1. Be careful. You got to change everything. So you get 0.97435. 0.97435. Yeah, be careful. 8285. Now, while I'm saying you're going to be very careful on those, you'll see why that even if you make a mistake there, you can still get the right answer if you do what I tell you to do. Delete 2. And delete 2. 0.25. Why is that up? Okay. 0.25. 831,824. 831,824. 3. So what we're going to do is now we're going to add these up. So I just do this. This plus this. Notice that way I make sure, even if I hand wrote them down wrong, I'm not recopying these. I'm just getting the numbers off my calculator, and I get 0.37045. So 0.37045, and they said round to the nearest hundred, so it's 0.37. Man, a lot of work for that problem. I'm gonna move over this way. No, this one's not bad. Sam's backyard gets very little sunlight. The probability that a geranium planted there will flower is 0.28. So the probability it will flower is 0.28. That means the probability that it won't flower is 0.72. Again, they have to add up to 1. And now we just need R and N. And remember, R, because it's a 4-point question, is probably going to be either two or three numbers. So we're going to plant 5 geraniums. And we want at least 4. That means if I want 4 of them to geranium, 4 can work or 5 can work. Be careful. At least does not mean less than. At least 4 means 4 or 5. So we're going to have 2 equations because R has 2. We're going to have 2 equations. 5 choose 4, 0.28 to the 4, 0.73 to the 1, and 5 choose 5, 0.28 to the 5, 0.73 to the 0. And we're going to type those in. Do not round. Delete 1. I know you're probably wondering why I'm using this one. 0.72. 0.28. And it was 5 choose 4. So 5 choose 4. Oops. 0.2. Oh. This is where everything gets all messed up. 0.28. I can just do it that way from now on. So 5 choose 4. 0.28 to the 4th. My goodness. I should have just retyped this one. Oh, shoot. No. 4. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's try this again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here, hit this one. All right. So backspace. This is to the 1. 7, 2. This is to the 4. 2, 8. All right, so who got it? All right, 0.2022, 0.022, 127616, 127616. So we want that same thing again, but now we're going to do this to the 0 power. We're going to do this to the 5 power, and we're going to change this over here to 5. So if you're going to recopy and use your lines from before, do so carefully. 0.00172, 0.00172, 103, 103. Now we're just going to add them. We're going to take this. We're going to add this, and we get 0.0238, 0.0238. 4865. 4865. Normally that's enough decimals. We want it rounded to the nearest thousands place. That's right here. So my answer is 0.02. Oh, wait, no, that's right here. 4. 0.024. Not here. This is the thousands place. All right. I'll be back, I think. Yep. Okay, here we go. The probability a professional baseball player hits is 1/3. Oh, don't get me started on baseball, by the way. I'm a soccer fan. We got N, R, P, and Q. We're in the 4th section, so I'm expecting multiple values for my R. So let's see, change the letters up. Probability of getting hit is 1/3. That means the probability of not getting a hit would be 2/3. We're going to take 5 attempts. And we want to get at least 3 hits. The least amount I'll take is 3 hits. So that's 3, 4, or 5. So 3, 4, or 5 hits. So we're going to have 3 equations. 5, choose 3. 5, choose 4. And 5, choose 5. Remember again, if this is getting easy for you, try number 5. It's really hard. It's got a trick to it. You got to be careful. So 2/3, 2/3, 2/3, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Remember, the exponent's got to add up to 5. Don't make a silly mistake. All right, so let's go back to here. We're going to go menu 5, 3. We're going to go 5, comma 3, parentheses, 1 divided by 3, parentheses, raised to the 3, parentheses, 2 divided by 3, parentheses, raised to the 2. They add up to 5, 5, 5, 5, enter. I get 40 over, no, wait a second, 40 over 243. So this is 40 over 243. Now, do I want, count the exact probability. So we should not have decimals here, no decimals. So we're going to hit the up arrow, enter. We're going to change this to a 1. I'm going to change this to a 4. I'm going to change this to a 4. Hit enter. 10 out of 243. And just to save myself time, the last one is 1 out of 243. When I add all those up, I get 51 out of 243. Or if you reduced it, that's 17 out of 81. Either one of those is acceptable. All right, kids, let's keep moving on. Question 4. The probability the Stormville Sluggers will win a baseball game is 2/3. So the probability of winning is 2/3. The probability of losing then is 1/3. R and N. We got to figure out how many games we're going to play. 6 of their next 8 games. We're going to play 8, and we want to win at least 6. That's 6, 7, or 8. You really got to get comfortable with that, at least at most things. At least means that's the bottom, basement, 6, 7, 8. Okay, get comfortable with it. We're going to have 3 equations. And thank God, because otherwise we'd have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'd have 7 equations the other way. That would be brutal. 8, choose 6. 8, choose 7. 8, choose 8. We're going to have 6 games won, 7 games won, or 8 games won. And then this one, of course, is the probability of losing. So 2/3, 2/3, 2/3, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. 6 and 2, because they got to add up to 8. 7 and 1, they got to add up to 8. 8 and 0, they got to add up to 8. So this one we're going to probably end up decimals. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll get fractions, but I have to round it to the thousands place. So menu 5, 3, 8, comma 6, parenthesis, 2 divided by 3, and let's get this back up, to the 6th, 1 divided by 3 raised to the 2nd. Oh, 1792 over 6561. So 1792 over 6561. The up arrow, enter, change this to a 1, change this to a 7. Changes to a 7. A lot of kids, when they do it, just change the exponents, but forget to change it in the combinations too. 10, 24, 65, 61. 10, 24, 65, 61. Now you notice they're all coming up with as fractions, but the problem says you need to round. So we're going to, when we're done, only when we're done, not before then, we're going to round this. We're going to turn this thing into a big decimal. We're going to add them all up, turn it into a fraction, 256 over 6561. So now we're going to add all these up, and we're going to get a fraction. That's okay. $10.24. Whoa, slow down, bro. $10.24 over $21.87. Well, that's not good enough because it says it wants it as a rounded to the thousandths place. So we got to convert this sucker. So all we do is go up there, highlight it, and for this one you just put a decimal here and it'll change it. So 0.468221. 0.468221 rounded to the nearest thousandths place. So my answer here is 0.468. All right. We only have 3 questions left. Let me stop for a second. All right, promise, this is the tough one. And I'll show you why in a minute. It's tough. It's got a trick to it. And if you're not paying attention, you're going to make a mistake. And this is where you can lose points. This is what separates the hundreds from not the hundreds, the passing from not the passings. Even if you know how to do these problems cold, this problem might mess with your brain. So if you have tried it already, go ahead, try it, do it on your own. It's not bad. There's just one thing you got to be careful of. If you haven't tried it, hit pause, try it. If you have tried it, then let's rock and roll and see how you did with it. Or you can scrub through to see if you got it right. So we got N, R, P, and Q. So the probability shows that 35%, that's 0.35, of fish caught in the lake had high levels of mercury. So 0.35 is for high levels of mercury. Suppose that 10 fish were caught from this lake. Find to the nearest 0.1%, so we're going to round, the probability at least 8, so that's 8, 9, or 10, caught did not contain high levels of mercury. So this is the trick. Even though they told you 0.35 is high levels, remember, P is what we want. P is the probability of what we want. What we don't want, in this case, what we want is not high levels of mercury. So that would be 0.65. This is what we don't want. We don't want high levels of mercury, which is 0.35. And so that's the big trick on this problem. Other than that, it's the same as everything else. You just have to be very careful of the reading. So 10, choose 8, 0.65 to the 8, 0.35 to the 2. 10, choose 9, 0.65 to the 9, 0.35 to the 1, and 10, choose 10, 0.65 to the 10, and 0.35 to the 1. All right, so we'll go over to our calculator. Menu 5, 3, 10, comma, what was the first one? 8, parenthesis, 0.65 to the 8th. Eighth. 0.35, oops, forgot the decimal. That would be a huge problem. Squared. So 0.175, so 0.175, oops, got the hiccups. 6529. 6529. Give about 6 decimals. You're not going to use these numbers anyway. Ooh, by the way, this should be a 0. Ooh, almost made a mistake. Hit the up arrow. Enter. Changes to a 1. Changes to a 9. Changes to a 9. And enter. 0.07249. 0.07249. 169. And finally, one last one here. 0. You have to change all these numbers because if you just miss one of them, you're going to mess it up. 0.01346. 0.01346. 27433. 27433. You're going to add these suckers up. Enter. Plus. enter, plus. So we get 0.261607, 0.261607, 391. Probably should be enough. So we're going to round it. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. This is what also makes this difficult. It says rounded to the nearest 10th of a percent. This is not a percent. This is a decimal. So the first thing I got to do now is I got to convert this to a percent. Now, to convert it to a percent, you can just come over here and you just multiply by 100 or just move the decimal point twice. So you get 26.160739. Now I can round it to the nearest 10th of a percent. So my final answer for this one is 26.2%. Wow. Well, that was a tricky 4-point question that year. I bet they got a lot of people on that one, okay? So if you didn't get it right, that's okay. Just now you know what to look for so you don't make those mistakes. All right, got 2 left. Let's see if I got time for one. Yeah, we got time for one. The members of a men's club, blah, blah, blah. All right, I know this one. All right, I've already done it. So hopefully you've read it. Hopefully you've read through it. And we want at least 8, so R is equal to 8, 9, or 10. The probability of wearing black is 0.6, and the probability of not wearing black then will be 0.4. So we're going to do 10 choose 8, 0.6 to the 8, 0.4 to the 2. This is very similar to the last one. 0.6 to the 9. This should be 9. I should probably just erase that and make it look nice. You guys getting bored? I hope not. Try not to bore you. I mean, I could be doing tricks. You don't want to see tricks from me. While I write down all this boring stuff, I could be making faces. I don't know why I did that. It's late. It's like 10 o'clock and I still got like 4 more of these to do. All right, I'm not going to get through all these tonight. We'll see how many I get through. See how much my brain can handle. So since it's very similar to this one, I'm just going to see if I can cheat a little bit. Hit enter. 2.4 8.6 8. So 0.1209, 0.1209, 323. All right, and then the next one, 1, 9, 9. 0.043. You can see where there's a lot of places you can make mistakes here. Writing down the numbers wrong, you know, putting in the wrong decimals, not changing all the numbers. That's another one. Do this one twice. And this is not one where you're like, oh, at the end, I know I got that one right. Because you're like, okay, maybe that's right. You know, it's not one that anybody can really look at and say, yeah, that's about right. And 0.00604. 0.00604, 66176, 66176. Now we add them all up. Again, use your calculator to add them up. This one plus this one. Yes, 0.167289. So 0.167289 rounded to the nearest thousandth. 3 decimals. So my answer is 0.167. All right, since there's only one small question left and it's pretty easy, I'll just do this one last. All right, so Carol believes that because Tennessee's a longer number, it's got 9 letters, there's more arrangements with Tennessee. So we'll take a look at Tennessee. Tennessee has 9 letters, so that would be 9 factorial, but we got to get rid of the repeaters. So 1, 2, 3, 4 E's, 4 factorial. 1, 2, 2 N's, and 2 S's, 2 factorial. Remember, 2 factorial is just 2, so we'll just be easy on that one. Control division, start with a division fraction. 9. If you don't do a fraction, you're going to mess it up. Guaranteed. All over 4 factorial times 2 times 2. Enter. 3780. So 3780. And then the other one is just 7 factorial because there are no repeaters. So I just got to come over here and do 7 factorial. And I get 5040. So you need to write a little sentence, but I'll forgo my English because it says it says, is she correct? So if you don't say, no, she is not correct, since Tennessee has 3,780 possibilities, while Vermont has 5,040. Write a nice sentence on there, explain your math a little bit, and you'll be golden. All right, kids, that's probability. Hope you enjoyed yourself. I know I did. Wow. Hey, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, give me some thumbs up, give me some comments if you want them, and if there's something else you want to see, you can either text me. My phone number is on the website. You can always text me, or you can just send me a quick email. My email's up there as well. Try to make myself, don't text me in the middle of my classes, those morons that keep texting me in the middle of my class or calling me in the middle of my class. Don't do it. It's annoying. I'll find out who you are. I'll hunt you down. No, I won't. I'm just kidding. But all right, kids, keep working, study hard, be good, don't do anything stupid. The world's got enough stupid people. No, go away. No, really, go away. Why you go? Just hit the stop button. This video's over. I'm not doing